Thursday evening and welcome to Unscripted here on Up North Live. We're glad you can join us for the next half hour of news and, of course, weather updates for across northern Michigan. Speaking of the weather, meteorologist Ethan Foreman joins us tonight for a look at what we can expect as we get closer to the weekend. Ethan, it looks like we are going to see some pretty frigid temperatures.
We certainly are, Melissa. Some of us on Saturday and Sunday morning could wake up to wind chills in the double digits below zero. So certainly going to want that jacket this weekend and those gloves and boots and whatnot, as it's going to be a cold one out there. And we're also going to be seeing that lake effect snow pile up too. And so it looks like it's going to be a cold and snowy weekend, but there is some promising news as we head into next week. There are model runs that are showing we could be seeing rain and highs in the 40s by the middle part of next week. We'll have to see, almost a week out, so things could very well change, and it doesn't look like it's going to be very long lasting. It looks like we'll be back to colder temperatures prior to the holidays, but I'll have more details on all that coming up in your full forecast.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Ethan. It is a story that has gone beyond northern Michigan and has grabbed the attention of people really across the country. The murder investigation of Rebecca Park and her baby in Wexford County is not only tragic, but it's created a growing list of questions and developing details. Tonight, we're joined by Ann Emerson. Ann is the senior investigative reporter for the podcast Criminally Obsessed and recently interviewed Rebecca Park's adoptive mother, Stephanie. First of all, Ann, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. This is an incredible story that you guys have been following, and I just couldn't even believe what I was reading when I first heard about it.
It is. I think every time we're getting new information, it becomes more shocking, and it's something that you can't imagine that could possibly happen. You actually spoke with Rebecca Park's adoptive mother, Stephanie, on your podcast. Mm-hmm. When did you speak with her, and what did you talk about?
We talked for a long time. I reached out to Stephanie Park, Rebecca's and Kimberly's adoptive mother. Mm-hmm. They adopted, she adopted Rebecca when she was only 1 year old, and Kimberly was only 1 month old. This was the mother to these girls, and as a mom myself, just seeing the level of shock and horror that this woman has had to go through was unbelievable. I started to reach out to her last night, and I was able to actually do the interview today. And we talked for a good hour about everything from learning about Rebecca, and she calls her Becky and Kimmy, like throughout their years, and to this horrific murder at the end. She has tried so hard to keep it together, because this is the most incredibly tragic part of this as well, is that she has the 3 toddlers. Mm-hmm. This is a grandmother who is now watching Rebecca's children and Kimberly's child. So she doesn't have time to grieve. She is working through the shock of it all, but she seriously doesn't even have time to stop, because she has 3 little babies that depend on her for absolutely everything. So I was amazed that she was able to give me that time today to just go through it. But it was really amazing how strong this woman is.
And did Stephanie mention that the last time that she had talked with Rebecca?
She did. And, we really went through the entire relationship and talked about, the whole relationship with her. She last spoke with her October 31st on Halloween. Okay. But, because she was such an integral part to Rebecca's life, and this kind of horrific ending, this murder was never, ever on the table. Rebecca was 38 weeks pregnant. She actually went into false labor like right before she went missing, because she had been at the hospital having contractions. She had her mom, Stephanie, her adoptive mom, said that she had 2 children already at 22, and in both of those cases, those babies came early. So everything in their house was about getting ready for this baby coming. And so everybody was, she was just trying to deal with all these things that were going on, and staying in touch with the fiance, Richard, as well. who, she said, yes, this is a man that was with Rebecca. But she did say, yes, he had this criminal history, yet he really, truly cared, Stephanie believes, about Rebecca and about the welfare of Rebecca and her child. Stephanie believes that wholeheartedly. So you can imagine what it's like with a baby coming. Everything is about that. But of course, there's two babies that live with Stephanie that are Rebecca's already, two boys that she's just trying to take care of. So, and Kimberly. So it's just chaos as this news comes out that Rebecca has gone missing. And she gets that news from Kimberly, of course.
Do you feel that Stephanie had any inclination that Rebecca maybe should not have reconnected with her biological family?
100%. 100%. And I think that this is something Stephanie has been working with the girls for a really long time. And as she said to me, and it was such an enlightening interview because it really put it into the perspective of families. And we all have families that are complicated and confusing at times, and seasons of getting along and not getting along, and all of those years. But, they, like many adopted children, wanted to know who their biological mother was. And, it took everything Stephanie had along the way to try and keep Courtney away from those girls. And she was very blunt about it. She had restraining orders against Courtney. She told the girls, do not get anywhere near this woman, and made it very clear that their biological mother was a danger to them. And she knew it. And she tried everything she could. But as Stephanie said in her defense, and she is such a lovely person, I tried everything, but you've got to understand that Rebecca is a 22-year-old woman, and she cannot keep her at home. And, there was a lot of other issues going on that we delve into in this interview to give you a broader perspective of what was happening. So Stephanie could not have been more open with me. And her whole focus in this whole world right now is getting justice for Rebecca, of course, trying to get justice, but at the same time, trying to protect those babies.
And speaking of, speaking of the babies, I have to ask, how are they doing? I mean, you mentioned she has Rebecca's 2 children plus her sister Kimberly's child.
Right. They are babies and they don't know better. And it's her job, as she tells me, to protect them and to keep the horror as long as she can away from these babies. It's beyond understanding right now. It's going to take years, I think, for anybody connected to this story, and even for us that are just hearing about it, to be able to process what that actually means, right? Because these babies at some point will see what's on the internet. They're going to see what's out there in the world. They're going to be links to these stories about their mom, and it's going to be a lot to process. So right now, she's just holding on as we go into these holidays of trying to keep these children happy and safe, and keep the reality of this hideous murder from anything that touches them. That is literally her focus, which is so beautiful.
And thank you. If people would like to listen to the entire interview, how can they do that?
We're going to be putting it up later tonight. It'll be going up pretty soon. Please go and subscribe to Criminally Obsessed on YouTube. That is where you'll find my daily show. I'm on Monday through Thursday, and this is one interview. I'm doing another interview as well on the Rebecca Park murder and her baby's murder. And I encourage you to watch the interview, because what we try and do on the show is really give you deep dives on these very exclusive interviews that we do. And, I've been doing this for 30 years as an investigative reporter. This is one of the worst stories, I'll be honest, that I've heard of, that what this poor girl went through. But I believe that if we can get the truth out and follow these stories carefully, that it helps the justice process, because we do take it with a lot of accountability and a lot of integrity. So come find us at Criminally Obsessed on YouTube, and we're also on all your socials. Any platform that you're following, you're going to see our work at Criminally Obsessed, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere.
Thank you. And we appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. We will have a link to that posted on our website, UpNorthLive.com. Switching gears, though, taking a look at other news tonight, it feels like vandalism. That is how a Wexford County woman is describing her experience after picking up her dog from the groomer who decided to dye the dog's fur green. She says this was done without her permission. And through the story today, we're actually learning that there's really no protections when it comes to things like this at the dog grooming services. Our Allie Baxter looked into this, and she has more.
Good boy. You're a good boy.
Janice Johnson is not just a mom. She's also a dog mom to 3-year-old RJ. And every 2 to 3 months, RJ needs a haircut.
And I started getting really uncomfortably anxious at 4 hours.
Janice had dropped RJ off at 11 a.m. with Jasmine's Pet Salon, a pet grooming business owned by Leandra Marie Boyles.
I actually said, don't do anything to his ears. Don't do anything to his tail. They're fine. This should be an easy groom.
After having him for 6 hours, Janice waited in Leandra's driveway.
And I almost wanted to bust through the door. Where's my dog?
Janice says it was dark outside by the time RJ was carried to her car.
I said, oh, I was just in shock.
In shock because RJ's ears and tail were dyed bright green.
I'm not a confrontational person. And I honestly thought I was going to give him a bath the next day and was going to wash out.
But the green color didn't wash out. Janice texted Leandra asking what was put on her dog. She told her it was Opaz, a permanent hair dye for pets. In a now deleted Facebook post, Leandra also advertised her coloring services using photos of RJ.
Treating my dog like her personal, art project. I'm the one that has to live with this. I mean, he's colorblind, so he doesn't care.
Janice says Leandra had asked her a couple times before if she could dye RJ.
No way in hell. No way. Not my dog. No. And she probably asked every time I dropped him off, but she didn't ask this time.
When Janice confronted Leandra over text about why she would dye RJ green without permission, she got this response in part, quote, "It's sometimes better to ask for forgiveness than permission. How am I supposed to grow my business if I always took no for an answer? I do apologize for you being one of my no permission candidates, but I had a good feeling you'd be more easygoing and forgiving than the rest of the people, and it was worth a shot. My excuse is I'm young."
She took advantage of my niceness, and she used my dog like some sort of toy.
Because dog groomers really don't report to any agencies, there wasn't anyone Janice could voice her concerns to. So she posted the photos of RJ on Facebook so others would be aware.
I thought it was only going to stick within the local community groups. I wasn't trying to, spread this, but people are going to do what they're going to do on the internet.
Janice did still pay Leandra for RJ's haircut. Since then, Leandra refunded her.
Some people might find it cute. I love my dog. It doesn't matter what he looks like, but I'll be honest, it's ugly to me.
That was Allie Baxter reporting. Now, if you have concerns and you may have used this groomer for your dog, you can find the full report on our website, UpNorthLive.com. And that brings us to our question of the day, focused on dog grooming. Do you think pet groomers should be certified and licensed? We do have a poll posted right now on our Facebook page and our website. You can check those out. And of course, we will check those responses coming up a little bit later in the show. We'll be right back.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back to Up North Live's Unscripted for this Thursday evening. If you think it is cold outside now, we're going to see temperatures drop even more. Ethan Foreman has the latest on what we can expect as temperatures, believe it or not, they are going to get colder, Ethan, as the next few days go on.
Yeah, right, Melissa. Right now we're seeing wind chills in the teens for many. Many of us are going to be waking up to wind chills on Saturday and Sunday in the teens, not above zero, below zero. And so it looks quite cold as we head into this weekend, but a few flurries still hanging on in areas like Cadillac on this Thursday evening, as we see a temperature at 25 degrees with a west-northwest wind at 5 miles per hour, making it feel like 19. And temperatures today, right now, I should say, are pretty chilly, sitting only at 16 degrees in Sault Ste. Marie and Boyne Falls, as these areas see some clearing, especially along and east of I-75, down to 20 in Gaylord and West Branch, sitting at 28 in Traverse City, Frankfort, and Manistee. Some of the warmer readings this evening. That's because there's more clouds along and west of US 131, closer to I-75 and eastward, though. More clearing, but that's going to lead to a cold night for those areas tonight. Those areas that are under those clouds, though, very well could still continue to see some lake effect flurries from time to time. Won't be anywhere near as widespread, though, but watch out for a few slick roadways into your Friday morning, especially as any melting that has occurred today from salt or anything like that is going to freeze overnight, so leading to icy roadways on Friday morning, and those lake effect snow showers still a possibility on Friday morning. But then a system is off to our west as those southerly winds become more westerly as we head into Friday afternoon and evening, and you could see by 1:45 in the afternoon already affecting areas like Rhinelander, Marquette, and Green Bay. That's going to start to move in here as we head into the evening hours of Friday, mainly around sunset or slightly thereafter, as we see that system moving in, bring in some widespread light accumulations. Then as we head into Saturday morning by 3:15 in the morning, this is all lake effect, and this is going to be continuing through much of the day on Saturday. It's going to be cold too. We'll talk about that in a moment, but we'll be seeing that lake effect snow bringing some areas up to an inch or more per hour in the heaviest bands. So that's going to lead to some blowing and drifting snow, as well as very slick roadways from time to time. And we'll see additional accumulation tonight, not much, perhaps an inch in a couple areas, and then we'll add more as we head into Friday night as that system moves through, and then lake effect takes over into Saturday. Some areas could end up with more than 6 inches when all said and done. And then those wind chills are the main story for everyone this weekend. Tonight will drop down near zero by 9 p.m. for those areas closer to I-75, and even colder into Friday morning. We're not going to warm up much either on Friday, only in the teens above zero. But then look at this. As we head toward midnight Saturday morning, many of us near zero. And then by 7:30 in the morning Saturday, many of us waking up to wind chills in the double digits below zero. And we won't warm up really at all on Saturday. That wind is going to be absolutely brutal. We'll see those those low temperatures tonight, I should say, in the teens for most, but some single digits where we see some clearing in 20s closer to Lake Michigan. And so a cold night is ahead. And then up to the north tomorrow, we'll see highs only in the 20s to low 30s as we see a few snow showers possible, but overall still hanging on below average. A system moves in as we head into Monday, and then more rain showers take over Wednesday into Thursday.
All right, thanks, Ethan. And coming up, sports director Harrison Beebe shares a conversation with the Manton Rangers on the girls' basketball program coming off of a great season. Stay with us. Welcome back to Unscripted. High school girls basketball continuing its opening week, and a lot of eyes will be on the Manton Rangers. Sports director Harrison Beebe joins us now live with more on that. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Melissa. Yep, opening week, so we're trying to get a look and see how good a lot of these teams are going to be this year. And based on last season's success, there's a lot of momentum building in Manton. They got one of the best players in Northern Michigan, junior Aubrey Hiller. She's just tremendous to watch on the basketball floor. Every time I can kind of get on my way to catch one of their games, I do. And between her and head coach John Katona, we caught up with them in this week's Jimmy John Sports Corner to kind of gauge where they think they're going to look this season and what will be a very competitive Highland Conference.
The following segment is sponsored by Jimmy John's of Traverse City.
I think a lot of people took notice of what you guys did in the postseason. You stood out amongst a lot of Northern Michigan schools. What did that mean to you guys to have that success and now kind of use that going forward into this year?
Fun year. It was one of those storybook years for sure. We had very talented girls. Obviously, that's where it starts. Our coaching staff was superb too. I had a lot of help last year. Our ultimate goal was to try to make it as far as we can, and we would love to have that regional final game again. But it kind of just cemented some of our players' legacies.
Aubrey, you're just a junior. Speak to the growth of this team in your first 2 years and how you're excited to have 2 more to go with them.
The years prior, we had a lot of girls that were experienced, and they were a lot of help and just a really good, strong team. All the teams right now that have everyone back, they're mostly all seniors, and most of our team is juniors. So it will be a good learning experience. The challenge of facing these great teams, obviously it will make us better, but it will push us as we go throughout the season, and we'll just keep learning. We play McBain next week. That will probably be an eye-opener to how the season will be.
Yeah, Melissa, yesterday I tried to make it out to Manton to cover a huge game against them and Mayo. They have 2 of the best juniors in the entire state in Aubrey and Mia McGregor over at Mayo. Unfortunately, when I got there, they had the gym closed due to weather. They decided to postpone that game, but they have told me they're going to reschedule it, and no doubt looking forward to that opportunity to see 2 of the best basketball players in Northern Michigan take the court against each other, hopefully sometime in early January.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Harrison, for that. Coming up, we will take a look at the live results for our question of the day coming up after the break.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back to Unscripted. We are taking a look at that question of the day. Do you think pet groomers should be certified and licensed? You can, of course, check out our Facebook page. Here's some of the responses that we're getting. Christy says, absolutely. If they're going to be handling the animal, then yes. JC is saying, yes, they should be certified and health department inspections should be done. You can still check out those questions, or our question rather, and leave your response. Have a good night, though. We will, of course, check in with you at Up North Live News at 11. Until then, have a great night.